As big events return to Canada, many venues are opting to require proof of a COVID-19 vaccination in order to enter or participate. And just this morning, the Toronto Blue Jays decided they were going to follow suit. CBC's Hilary Johnstone joins us now with more on this. So, Hilary, what are the Blue Jays saying?
Natasha, they're saying that as of September 13th, anyone who wants to go to the Rogers Centre and watch a Toronto Blue Jays game will either have to be fully vaccinated or will have to show proof of a negative COVID-19 test. So that's going to be for anyone who's 12 years of age and older. And the Toronto Blue Jays, they're just one of a number of teams we've heard from this morning that are putting out similar policies. We've also heard from CFL teams, including the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Ottawa Red Blacks, who have come out this morning and have announced similar policies as well. And what we're hearing from the Blue Jays is that a big reason for this is they want to see the Rogers Centre back at full capacity as soon as is possible. They also say that they've had fan feedback on this, saying that fans want to also see people fully vaccinated if they're going to be welcomed back to games. So we do have a statement here from the Blue Jays, and in part it reads, quote, "We are committed to doing our part to keep our community's recovery efforts moving forward and to see the Rogers Centre and other live event venues at full capacity. The well-being of Blue Jays fans, staff, and players has always been our priority, and we are proud to join fellow venues in making large-scale events as safe as possible." So that is what we're hearing, Natasha, from the Blue Jays, and like we say, just one of a number of teams who've put out similar policies this morning.
Okay, let's turn to the latest with the CFL because one of their teams had to postpone a game due to a COVID outbreak. What are you hearing from the Edmonton Elks?
So the Edmonton Elks, what we've heard from the CFL, they put out a statement late last night saying that a number of players had tested positive for COVID-19. Now, they're not saying exactly how many. They do say that this involves Tier 1 personnel. So that can be both players and coaches, for example, but not giving a number. So they were scheduled to play the Toronto Argonauts later this week. That game has now been postponed. We don't have a new date yet for when that is going to take place. We also know that the last team that the Edmonton Elks played was the BC Lions, and those players are now being closely monitored for any symptoms. But what we've heard is that it's not believed that they had any sort of high risk of infection, weren't exposed to high risk of infection, but still waiting to see when that game might be postponed until. But we have a statement here from the CFL, and it does say, in part, the Elks will not practice or travel until our chief medical officers and public health officials have assured us that it's safe for them to do so. All of the Elks Tier 1 personnel, including players, coaches, and support staff, will now be subjected to an enhanced testing protocol, which includes isolation. Now, the CFL put out protocols a little while ago, really trying to encourage teams to make sure that their players were vaccinated. And what they said was that if a game has to be postponed or canceled because of an outbreak, then that team is going to take on a 1-0 loss. So we'll have to forfeit the game. If both squads have an outbreak, each will forfeit the game and take a loss. And then this last part here is saying that if at least 85% of a team's vaccinated, players will still be paid for the missed game. Now, we have an updated statement here from the CFL. They refuse to say exactly how many players, what percentage of players and team staff of the Edmonton Elks had been vaccinated, but they did say that they had not reached that 85% threshold. So that is important to note, which, according to the CFL protocols, would mean that those players will not be paid if that game is canceled. So that is the latest from the CFL and from the Edmonton Elks.